I'd like to start today's sermon with the scriptural teaching on marriage in the book of Ephesians, chapter 5. Verse 22 says, "Wives, submit to your husbands as to the Lord." 아멘이 없어요. This verse has caused so much controversy, especially in the Western churches. So many theologians, preachers, and lay people alike are tripping over this verse. And I do think that they are being overly sensitive. 그 한글 번역은 보니까 너무 잘했어요. 너무 잘했는데 한글로 번역해 놓으니까 좀 세게 나오더라고요. 뭐라 그러지? 예민하게 군다고 생각합니다가 아니고 그냥 예민하다고 생각합니다. 예. And as our senior pastor said last Sunday night, I think what Paul says to men are far more difficult than what he says to women. He says, "Husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her." 누구야? 잘했어요. How can we ever do that? How can we ever love like Jesus? And giving myself up here is not 포기하는 게 아니라 죽는 거예요. Jesus gave himself up on the cross and he died for us. Right? He's telling us to die for our wives. To die for our wives. And the women are complaining that it is unfair for them. I don't know if they're reading the same Bible as I am. 우리가 더 unfair한 것 같은데. And furthermore, honestly speaking, God is rubbing salt into our wounds. Generally speaking, I hope I don't get into trouble by saying this and revealing our secret, but men are more selfish than women. 뭐 다 아시지요, 여자분들은. 결혼해 보신 분들은 제가 말 안 해도 벌써 다 이해하고 계시는 그냥 그런가 보다. And especially regarding their kids and family, women show more compassion and are far more willing to sacrifice than men are. And many women are divorcing their men because their husbands play too much video games. Here in Korea and over in US and other parts of the world, men are getting kicked out because they play video games too much. One documentary I saw, this was a Korean documentary, and it was dealing with this woman's difficult life. And she was really struggling with raising her child. But her husband, the child's father, did absolutely nothing to help out. As soon as he comes home, he opens his laptop, right, and starts playing online games on his laptop. The baby is crying in the back and the wife is preparing dinner or something, and the kid's going crazy, but he doesn't care. He's just playing video games. And later on, the wife is cleaning the floor, and I think she was vacuuming or something. And when she gets close to him, he just lifts his legs, right, and keep playing the game and lifting his legs. And when she came closer to him, he picked up the laptop and moved somewhere else and kept on playing video games. Man can be really selfish. So when God says, love your wife and give yourself up, it is exactly what we need to hear as men. And love, I think, is exactly what women want. So when men love their wives and give themselves up, they're putting their self down. Instead of being selfish, when they love their wives and give up their habits, give up their interest. I need to go play soccer with my friends, but you let that go. You put it down and help out. Right? I need to go play poker with my friends. You skip that when your wife needs you. When you give yourself up, you are putting yourself down, and that makes the wives really happy. When men sacrifice, where husbands sacrifice, the wives feel loved. Not when we say, I love you, and writing letters, and right? But when we sacrifice, when we put ourselves down, that's when the ladies feel loved. 젊은 청년들 알았어요? When women submit to their husbands, they're putting their self down, and it makes their husbands happy. Even if you're smarter than your husband, just go along with what he says. Okay? And I can promise you that if you are really right, it will turn out that way. 내가 잠깐 남편 뜻에 따라준다고 해서 꼭 그렇게 되는 거는 아니에요. 그쵸? Right? No? 그렇게 돼요? Let's say, 우리 이쪽에 가자. Let's go to this restaurant. Or your husband says, let's go to that restaurant. And you say like, that restaurant is closed now. And he says, no, it's not. Then go along with your husband and let him see that it is closed. And then you can go to another restaurant. Okay? And when you do that, when you let yourself down, it will make your husband happy. When women respect their husbands, the man, feel loved. Not when you say, I love you, honey, or give him a present or something, but when you let yourself down. So it goes both ways. We need to sacrifice ourselves to each other for a happy marriage. However, this is not an essential gospel. You don't find this command all over the Bible. It is only found explicitly only in a couple of places. But starting from this analogy, I want to talk about something that is so much more important than happy marriage. Happy marriage is important. But what I'm about to talk about today, is far more important. At the end of this chapter, Ephesians chapter 5, Paul says that he is not really talking about marriage, but about the mystery of the relationship between Christ and the church. So today, I also want to talk about this mystery in the relationship between God and us. In today's passage, the passage that we read, God is talking about an all-around blessing. It is not a financial blessing. It is not a blessing on your health or on your family. It is not intellectual blessing. It is not a blessing that will send you to Seoul National University or Harvard University or anywhere else you want to go. It is not a blessing of longevity. It is all of the above. This blessing is all of the above. It includes everything. It is all inclusive. You are blessed in the city or in the country. You are not blessed because you go into a school or because you live in a good neighborhood. You are blessed anywhere you go because you are a blessing. Your children are blessed because you are a blessing. You don't have to pray for a blessed child. 머리 좋은 애 나오게 해주세요. 이쁜 애 나오게 해주세요. You don't have to pray for that. When you are the blessing, your kids will be blessed. Your cats and your dogs are blessed. Things you use, your utensils, your tools are blessed. For some reason, my hammer works better than yours. 내가 복을 받으면 못도 잘 박혀요. 나무도 잘 잘리고 다치지도 않고 things work out much better when I am the blessing. This is the blessing God is talking about. Whatever you do are blessed because you are a blessing. When God called Abraham, this is what he said, I will make you into a great nation and I will bless you. I will make your name great and you will be a blessing. This is God signing a contract with Abraham. And he's basically saying, I will make you great. And God signed his name. There you go. Wouldn't you want a contract like that? 별로 안 좋으신가 봐요. 하나님이 내 옆에 계셔서 끝까지 나와 함께 하시면서 나를 어마어마하게 to make me great. 그러면 얼마나 좋겠어요. Do you remember 이승우? I just found out that he was transferred to another club from Barcelona. He is still playing professional soccer in Europe, and he's better than other soccer players, some of the other Korean soccer players. So he still has hope, but I do feel sorry for him for what he went through. At the age of 12, he was regarded as one of the best scorers in the world. And he was invited to join the Barcelona Youth Club. And next year, he scored. So I guess it's the first year. He scored 39 goals in 29 games and broke the record set by none other than Lionel Messi. 뭐 축구를 알아야 이게 와. 메시보다 잘했다라는 거예요, 이 나이에. 오, 예. 예. 메시 아시죠? 메시. He was the top scorer and he won numerous MVPs everywhere he went. After 3 years, the other clubs wanted to take him away, but he, remained faithful to the team that he started with, and he signed another contract with Barcelona. And people were saying that he was the next Messi, right? And he's the best one, and all that. But suddenly, FIFA banned his club, Barcelona, from signing any foreigners and banned him from playing any official game for 3 years until he turned 18. So for 3 years, he couldn't even stay in Spain. He couldn't even train with the team, let alone playing games with them. So he came to Korea and he stayed here for 3 years. So in 2016, when he turned 18, they took him back to Barcelona and they watched him play for 1 season. 1 season. And he wasn't good. He wasn't the kid that he used to be. So they let him go. 1 season. And he was picked up by an Italian club, Hellas Verona. 이 팀 아신 분? Hellas Verona. Have you heard of this team? I haven't even heard of this team. Hellas Verona. And Barcelona put a condition in the deal that they could have him back. That is, if he plays well again. How selfish. 못하니까 내보내는데 또 잘하면 다시 데려올 수 있다. 그 클라우스가 들어간 거예요. So Mysung, I think he stayed with the wrong team. He should have moved to another team when they showed interest. They only wanted him because he was one of the best. When he failed to meet their expectation, they dropped him like a 20-kilo bag of rice. 무거워. And that was it. That was it. God doesn't do that. When God signs a contract with you, He will never leave you or forsake you because you fall into a slump or you don't measure up. It doesn't matter. God prefers those who are lowly. God prefers those who don't have much talent. God will figure out a way. God will lead you and train you and make you great. That is what God is saying to the Israelites in today's passage. Lord your God will set you high above all the nations on earth. All these blessings will come upon you and accompany you. Wow! God will set you high above all the nations on earth. Wow. Wouldn't you love to have such a contract with God? But the problem is not God. The problem is us. Because most people would leave the contract themselves because of the if clause. If you obey. If you obey. The most important word in this passage today is not the bless. It is obey. It is the word obey. That's the word we need to take away today from this sermon. If you obey. This is our end of the contract. This is what we need to do to make this thing happen. God will not make it happen supernaturally. God will train you. God will not give you up. God will bless you and God will make you great and God will make you a blessing, but you need to follow Him. You need to follow through with His plan. You need to follow through with His training. We need to obey God. And following God's plan means letting go of your plan. Doing hundreds of home visits in a short period of time, now I am driving like a taxi driver. 잘해요. 막 이렇게 빠져나가고 잘해요. Especially on this what is this called? 양재대로. In the morning, I have to join those people who are going to work in the morning because that's where I'm going, to Gangnam area. Right? On all these cars. But on every spot, I know where to be, which lane to stand on. Right? Which lane goes the fastest. Right? 빨리빨리 갈 수 있어요. And I'm driving around all over Seoul and the eastern part of Gyeonggi-do, even as far as Yeongjeong-do and Gangha-do, right? And I always have my navigation app running on my phone. And I have this holder, magnetic holder, and I just put it on it, right? It sticks there and shows me where I need to go. And everyone, sitting behind our 신방 대원들, they can see it too. And they can hear it too. But some ladies in the back seat will still tell me where to go. 이게 계속 얘기해주고 있는데 뒤에서 얘기하는 거예요. 오른쪽으로 가세요. 왼쪽으로 가세요. I mean, I'm following this. I'm following this. And when they agree, it's okay. It's a little annoying, but it is okay. But when they disagree, when she tells me something that is different from what the phone is telling me, I don't know what to do. 어떻게 해요? To follow my navigation app, I have to disregard the lady in the back telling me where to go. I cannot follow two routes at the same time. I have to make a decision. Jesus, when he prayed in the Garden of Gethsemane, he prayed, Father, if you are willing, take this cup from me, yet not my will, but yours be done. Not my will, but yours be done. When you try to follow God's direction and obey Him, your idea and God's plan will clash more often than not. The Galatians chapter 5 says, for the sinful nature desires what is contrary to the Spirit, and the Spirit what is contrary to the sinful nature. Sinful nature is talking about what I am, and the Spirit is the Holy Spirit. Okay? What He thinks and what I think cannot be the same. That's what He's saying. It is always different because we are different. We are not God. To follow His plan, you have to constantly let go of your desires. That is why it is so difficult to honor the contract with God. That is why many people leave and say, oh, I'm just fine with my life. I'll figure out. We need to remember that it is all for me. When my life route takes me to a difficult place, we need to remember that it is for me. God not only wants to bless me, but wants to make me a blessing. But as I am, I'm not quite there yet. God has to do a lot of work on me to make me great. 그러지 않겠어요? 저는 그렇게 생각해요. 멀었다. 얼마나 더 그러면 힘들어야 되나? Because I know where God is taking me. God wants to make me great. And I'm not there yet. That means, I have to do a lot of work. I need to get a lot of training. Think of where you are. How do you see yourself? Can you really say you are a blessing to people around you? Can you really say that your life is different from this world? God is telling you to submit to your husband, but it is not for your husband. It is for you. When God tells us to forgive our enemies, it is not for them. It is for us. When God told me to forgive someone, I thought it was, the other way around. I thought he was somehow, like he loved him more than me or something. What about me, Lord? Why are you taking his side? He's the one who did something wrong. He's the mean one. He's the wicked one. But later I figured out, I learned that it was for me. Because after I forgave, I was the one who was set free. I was the one who was enjoying the peace of mind. When God tells us to do something or not to go somewhere, it is for our own good. When God tells us to pray, He's not trying to annoy us or give us a hard time. When God tells us to go and worship Him in English worship service, it is for us. 아멘이 좀 클 줄 알았어요. It is for us. God is trying to make us great. Let us obey. It doesn't seem like it. And that's why we need faith to follow God. Let us obey. Let us pray.